Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Invite Only, your nerdy news, gossip gospel. Yeah, we're here with it again. Housekeeping out the way. You can see this episode live every Tuesday at twitch.tv/PE Productions at 7:30 p.m. But if you missed the live show, you can see it on Wednesday at 10 a.m. on youtube.com/play everything. My name is Shawn Flowers. To the left of me, I have my guest, my guy, Il Cisco, a.k.a. Franny Fanny. How you doing, man?
Pretty good, actually. I actually got out the house. That's nice.
That's good.
When was the last time you were out of the house?
Yeah.
2019.
For a grocery run, food run.
Oh, okay.
That's essential stuff. Yeah.
That's about
Is
it.
that the only reason, though?
No, I went to go see my mom for Father's Day because my stepdad.
You told me the other day you were like fighting wasp.
Oh, no, that was
His backyard, dog.
yesterday.
That could be backyard. That could have been backyard.
That was my
come on,
backyard.
Oh, well.
I think you just going wasp hunting?
My backyard's like a
counts.
jungle.
That counts, right? Leave the house, you go in the backyard. Part of the problem.
No.
And to the far corner, you have Cheeks_Junior. What you up to, baby?
What's going on, players? I am fantastic.
That's good to hear.
Good to see you and your cute little plaid jacket. Came mask prepared. I like it.
Yeah.
Pandemic
Souped up,
prepared 2020.
suited.
Make me feel special.
And on the ones and twos, I don't have Adrian today, but I got someone a little better. I got Tambo. How you doing?
What's up? And Shawn actually promised to rap since I am producing today, so stay tuned for that at the end of the show.
Call back
real?
to
Not
Overly
forget.
Consensual
He
Mondays.
did not forget. That's funny.
Can we just take a talk about Adrian for a second? You know what I mean?
Can we what?
What are we gonna do about Adrian?
I
You know what I
mean,
mean?
look, Adrian. I mean, he's cool. Like the only problem with Adrian is he be talking. You know what I mean? He be talking when I'm talking. You know what I mean? I don't like that too much. You can't be talking when I'm talking.
Yeah. This guy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
2 days before show, hey guys, I'm not gonna be able to make it.
I know he's all
You know what I
quiet. Usually on the show he's all loud, but he's like, "Hey guys, I don't know, but you know, Tuesday I don't know if I can be able to do
Yeah,
Tuesday."
that's fucking glass.
That's
He
Adrian.
thinks he's better than me. You know, it's
Yeah.
gonna be a problem,
I know.
and someone's gonna have to do something about it.
Tombo,
I'm gonna
I got someone.
Tombo, I'm gonna need you to take him down.
I got someone.
You're
I don't
on
have to do
keto
it.
now. You're all buff. You're all skinny.
Nah, I got someone.
Tombo look like Mario Lopez now. How you guys doing? You play anything new?
You want me to go first?
Who hasn't playing new shit?
I finally finished The Last of Us.
I am proud of
Last
you.
of Us Part 2, and I got a banger of a video reflection
Okay.
coming. That's
Yeah,
what
you-
we're gonna call them.
Yeah.
Our reviews aren't gonna be reviews. We talked about
Reflections.
this yesterday.
Yeah, we
It's
did.
reflections.
I liked it. I liked it when we went with it.
Because what are we gonna do? We're gonna tell you about the mechanics and how great the graphics look. No, I like the idea of a reflection a lot more than an actual review.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be coming. I'm actually doing capture for that tonight if everything doesn't poop out on me like it did last night. I don't gotta edit the show, you know.
Okay.
And I tried to get in on the Fall Guys beta.
What is that? You
Right?
too?
Did you play it? I'm very excited to listen to you talk about it, Francisco. Now, no. So Fall Guys. Remember when Compa Andres? Let's take a moment of silence for Compa Andres. We haven't seen
Hashtag free
in a minute.
Andres. It's in the chat.
Yeah. A lot of things I can't talk about under NDA with him right now. But remember, he brought it to our attention. It was an E3 game from Devolver Digital.
Oh.
And it was basically a battle. It was a. What's the game with the guys that we play?
So
It's Tombo, can you put up
What's-
the trailer?
Yeah, but what's the game?
Battle Royale?
No, yeah, the game that we played for Couch Clash that one time.
Like
And it was like
Couch
the
Beast?
Gang Beast.
Gang
Gang
Beast.
Beast. Gang
Oh, no,
Beast.
say
So
Couch
it's basically Gang Beast made as a battle royale.
No, not that one.
And-
Fall Guy.
So I can't really say much on Fall Guys because it is under NDA. But what I can say is the game's a ton of fun. And
This
do you
guy
guys
cop?
remember the old Spike TV show
This guy
MXC?
cop, you fed?
Exactly like that.
Is it? I was looking at it. I didn't see any NDA when I signed up.
No, there is. It's under. They have a whole private Discord and everything for it.
Yeah, I know the private Discord's NDA.
This guy a fed?
No, even the gameplay.
Got
Who you working for, bro?
Yes. Yeah, so this game looks like a shit ton of fun, and I can't wait to play it.
The
Play
first
it.
trailer they released
Play
like
it.
a year
Yeah.
ago is like their best one.
Play it in the background.
Yeah, we don't need all the audio.
It looks From what I remember of it from the E3 trailer, kind of just like you're just with 100 different people, right? And you kind of just have to run through obstacle courses, is what I remember. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like MXC from Spike TV.
You remember that game on the Xbox when you had to it was like a kind of platform you had to use your avatar, you had to run and jump.
The Doritos Crash Course?
The Doritos Crash Course, that's the name of it. Did you play that? Oh, Mikey, you had a PlayStation. You wanted an Xbox kid. Yeah, you missed out on great things.
That was fun.
Did I?
That was surprisingly fun.
You missed out on 1 versus 100. You remember that?
Yeah.
Classic. Good shit. Never won, but I mean, the opportunity was there to win. People won.
Just straight up game show games.
I cannot wait to play this though. I can only imagine me, you, and Tambo.
This is like a perfect couch nice game.
Yeah, God. All right, but
I don't know if it'd be couch.
I've been trying. I've been trying to get into this. I saw it, but it was only for a certain amount of time. That
if I knew you wanted it,
playing.
They told us we can invite 3 people into the beta.
I'm in. I mean, I'm gonna be under NDA, but I'm down with it. I want to play it. I'm super excited.
I already invited my 3. I didn't know you wanted to get in.
Oh damn!
I could see if I could try and get you in though. And it was for PC and PS4.
I know a guy.
Oh, for real?
That I had a choice of choosing 3 people for PC or PS4 to invite in. I just had to get emails. That's it.
Did you?
I have the beta.
You invited the 3 for PS4?
I did for PS4. I don't know if they'll specify a difference between the PS4 or PC invites.
I'll take a PC one. You know
I
what
could
mean?
try. I just need an email address.
Absolutely.
Mikey,
because the next session's tomorrow.
If you happen to get in, like you said, the next session's tomorrow. I mean, I can give you my email and we can talk about it after the show.
What do you mean, give you my email?
Because you're gonna try to get in, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But why would I give you why would you give me your email?
Because you can share it to 3 people.
Can your invites even share to 3 people?
That I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think that's
I
how
still
it
have to
works.
text them to see if they got their invites. It's guaranteed invite for their next wave of invites.
Got it.
Whatever. Before we get on to my man's right here, I got a question about the story of Last of Us, though. So there's been a lot of heat, all right, especially around the main characters. We talked about it last week, I think, about how Neil Druckmann and Laura Bailey was actually getting some flack and death threats for the game story. Do you resonate with those people?
No.
How do you feel about
I think they're dumb. I get why they people would be upset.
Do you see why?
On some of the things. So there's a couple different groups of people.
I finished the game in 2 days.
Okay, well, you guys can talk about it because I'm probably not gonna care too much because
I don't know if I want to get into spoilers because I'm sure there's still some people. It's not ready yet.
Hasn't it been?
You're about to drop a whole reflection tomorrow.
Yeah, but that's different. This is not. This is like a general podcast.
Well, generally, how long can you go for before actually getting spoilers? I usually see it as you got like a month.
No. No. I mean, if we had a proper spoiler cast, which we might do, I don't know if that would be. I think the reflection will cover it. But if we did a proper spoiler cast, then I'd say that's as soon as possible. But in general podcasts, I don't.
Well, okay. Is it fair for me to ask what is it that you think people are complaining about? No. What about the story?
One thing, yes. The other thing, no. Because there is a couple different camps. I mean, there are people mad about the whole game entirely.
Yeah.
So one thing is a storyline plot point, which I wouldn't be comfortable talking about. But on that one,
emotions for
on that one, I 100% understand why you'd be mad, but I don't understand why you would be sending death threats and.
It's a little extreme.
Because here's the thing: at the end of the day, I forgot who I was talking to about with it, but it's the story that they wanted to tell. Right,
it's their story,
and at the end of the day, I think the story that they told, if you go with them on the ride, even though you might be bummed out or pissed or angry at whatever that thing is, if you go with them on the ride, I think the payoff and the beauty of the story that they told is a lot more impactful.
Gotcha.
From that specific plot point.
Do you feel the same way, Francisco? You played the first one, right?
Oh, I played the shit out of them.
Yeah. Okay. So how do you feel? Do you feel do you resonate with the people that are kind of angry?
I just like he was saying, it's I get why they're angry, but it's just some of them are taking a little extreme. It's what pushed the story along, but as you're going through it, you get a lot of mixed emotions, but you understand a lot of what's going on at the same time. So it's weird.
I guess for both of you, does it make sense following the first game though? Do you feel like this is a proper sequel, story laid out? You can see these actually happening based off the first game?
Oh yeah, because nothing can be pretty in that world that they're living in. The fact that the first one was actually gave you a little heartwarming feeling
The first one was heartwarming. I thought the first one was bad too. Like it was crazy.
It is, but there's definitely more light at the end of the tunnel on that one.
This one just kind of stays. It goes light, then it just straight kick to the balls, and it's like it stays. The whole game just goes further and further.
In the reflection that I'm writing, one of the first of all, this game operates in complete gray area, and that's what I love about it. And even though it's a much darker game and a much more violent game, which and I'm not saying the first game's not violent in terms of Joel shot up like an entire like hospital. Of people.
Spoilers.
That one I think is past time.
Was that like 10 years?
Yeah, that one's past time. But Joel, like the first one's completely and utterly like violent, but this one it shows it a lot more in terms of like it's like really really gory, and it's not because like she's a female and like her being a female makes it like more uncomfortable. No, it's like it is a lot more gruesome in the game. But it's just dark and it operates in gray areas, and that's what I love about it. Now, the second thing that people are really mad at, me and Francisco were talking about it before the show, was a lot of the diversity in the game. But you know how sometimes diversity smells like bullshit?
First of all, explain diversity in the game. Like, what do you mean by that statement?
Lots of different colors, lots of different orientations, lots of different sexual preferences, right? And a lot of times diversity can smell like bullshit in terms of your pandering, right? In terms of like, if you don't do it right, you can kind of smell the bullshit, right?
It's either like forced in or just...
So do you feel like it's
which
awkward?
I was worried about. And not in terms of like the inclusivity, but in terms of it being like pandery. It was 100% not. And I was actually really happy with a lot of the choices that they made. I mean, in the first game, we found out that Ellie was gay, right? I love what they did with her in this one, and I love how they built upon themes like that in the world. And it felt proper because those things don't go away all because there's it's the end of the world, right? And I feel like the way that they did it was super, super realistic on how it would be.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, you got any take on that? No?
Kind of covered it pretty much.
You play any new games outside of Last of Us 2, I guess?
Just the usual stuff like Call of Duty, Doom.
You still playing Doom?
Yeah, Doom Eternal.
Is there more shit to like? Do they add like DLC to that, or is it just kind of
they have a
base game?
They kind of have like their own version of a battle pass that's free. So like over the course of like a month, it's like okay, level up these 15 levels, you get all this stuff.
So it's just for like cosmetic things.
Yeah,
Is it the same levels though?
It varies. I think the first one, if I remember, was like 12, and then this one's like 15.
Okay.
So it varies back and forth. Like this month is the classic Revenant skin from the original Dooms.
Okay.
So
I never played the original Doom, so I don't know what that looks like at all.
You're missing out. Doom is like one of the...
I'm just not a
OG
Doom Slayer.
shooters.
I'm sorry. Just can't do it.
Look,
Mikey's a Doom Slayer.
I am a Doomslayer, you know what I mean? But
I should have brought you the helmet to wear today.
yeah, that's the we're getting one here, you know?
I have it at home
We got
sitting in
the
the
helmet
box.
hookup. But no, Doom. You're talking about Eternal. You've been playing a lot of the multiplayer, or just playing through the story again.
Both.
Okay.
I go back and forth a lot. Campaign I slowed down a bit because I beat it 4 times in 1 week.
Yeah.
Just to get the
Seems like
skins.
a lot. You got the platinum, the little platty patati.
I got all of
all
not
Mike
yet.
cares
I've
about.
got all this. I'm trying to get the altars. I
Fake.
want to see what they all look like.
You're fake.
The Platties.
Yeah, I said you're fake. No platinum. You know what I mean?
I'm just okay. I want a platinum, but somebody has to hop online and play with me.
It's true. So you still don't have the multiplayer trophies though?
No.
Okay, so that's the one thing that I think we can knock out together. I need to make that happen. Trust me,
I'm just
with
glad
it.
that Ultra Nightmare is not a trophy.
Me too. Fucking thank God. So Doom's another one. I can't believe that came out this year. And then we got Ghost of Tsushima coming out this way. Again, it's
on
gonna
Friday.
get busy. It's gonna get busy. But sorry to
Yeah.
cut you off. But Doom for sure. I'm in love with the second one. I haven't really played the first one like a whole lot.
The original first ones or the
Like
reboot?
the reboot, essentially.
Fun fact: originals and the new ones are tied together.
It is interesting. I don't know if I care too much about Doom lore. I'm gonna be honest.
I mean,
That's a game where the story does not matter.
I didn't really care too much about the lore when I played the original ones. The original ones, it's like, all right, Doom guy, go in, kick ass, kill demons, come back.
I thought that
do
was
it
just the
again.
premise of the whole
Yeah, I
game.
felt that was the second one too.
Turns out there was a low key story.
I didn't know that. See, the mechanics on it are what I fell in love with it, and then the gameplay loop. But again, as the story guy, I don't typically play games like that.
Yeah.
That's why I fell in love. Like that's what makes Doom is like the gameplay loop, and that's why I thought the second one did so well.
I think it was the second one they made a big deal about that. Where it's like, if you care about the story, there is a story here, but if you just want to go in and rampage,
there's no story there.
The story is like weirdly complicated.
I'm sure it's like fucking Kingdom Hearts.
It's like a whole multi-dimension
Got to read
thing.
3 of the books, and then you got to play the Game Boy game to actually make sense of the first
played
game.
Doom, but I feel like you just play through like maybe like 4 or 5 levels, then you got a boss battle, and then you just rinse and repeat until you're done with the game.
That was the original ones, and everyone hated the Cyber Demon because he took all of your ammo to kill, every single bullet.
I'm weak. All right, did you guys get a chance to see Ubisoft Forward?
No.
The event that just passed
Couldn't
over the
give a fuck.
weekend.
Yes.
You saw it? Were you excited about it? Did it make you happy? You feel like, oh, it was the shit? They had 4 big announcements.
Honestly, I didn't know what to really expect from Ubisoft. The only thing I was actually looking for is what got leaked like a few days before that.
And what was that?
Far Cry.
Okay.
The only thing I was excited for Far Cry was because of the fact that the main antagonist is Gus from Breaking Bad. That guy is amazing as villain actors.
Gus from Breaking Bad. That's the black guy, right?
Yeah, Los Pollos Hermanos.
So that's the guy that's he's at the end of Mandalorian too.
Yep.
Yeah, he's the black guy at the end of Mandalorian. That's how I knew him, because when I seen it, I was like, okay, this guy looks like
He does
little bit of
amazing villains.
yeah. Damn. Okay. Wait. Motherfucker.
When you gotta go, you gotta go.
Yeah. So while he's gone, I guess I'll just jump into it.
Oh, were you about to pull something out?
Yeah, he just leaves the room.
No, he told us before. He's like, I gotta step out for like a couple minutes, like during the show.
What? What? I got videos to play. What?
Well, we were in the middle. You can't blame him. We were in the middle of talking about some stuff that he didn't have to pull up.
So I guess I'll just jump to the bottom of the story. I'm sorry, guys. I had a whole little you dig. I might have to call Adrian back. No, I'm just playing. So Scooby-Doo. Scooby-Doo Velma is a lesbian, apparently, says James Gunn and Mystery Incorporated producer. So Scooby-Doo, there was supposed to be a movie that's coming out, I believe, sometime soon.
You talking about the animated one that
It's
dropped?
an animated one. It dropped already?
No,
Yeah.
not.
The animated one dropped like a month ago. It's on HBO Max already.
Wait, is it called?
It's called
Mystery Incorporated, or is it called Scoob? Because Scoob's the one that just came out.
Scoob's the one that just came out. No,
Yeah.
so I mean, the article just says it's the new Mystery Incorporated producer.
Okay.
So this might be a new movie coming out soon. So I'll just read what the article says for you guys, so I won't make it make any sense. So Scooby-Doo, Mr. Incorporated, Tony Cervone has confirmed that Velma Dinkley is a lesbian, while James Gunn has revealed that the character was supposed to be explicitly gay in the 2002 live-action computer animated movie. So this is a quote from the producer, Tony Cervone. He said, "I've said this before, but Velma is Mystery Incorporated is not bi. Velma in Mystery Incorporated is not bi. She's gay. We always planned on Velma acting a little off and out of character while she was dating Shaggy because the relationship was wrong for her and she had unspoken difficulty with the Y," he wrote. And shortly after he said that, James Gunn wrote, "The script for the 2002 and its sequel added to the conversation about the character explaining that Velma was supposed to be explicitly gay in the live-action adaptation of Hanna-Barbera animation, but the studio just kept watering it down." And he continues to say, "In 2001, Velma was explicitly gay in my initial script, but the studio just kept watering it down, becoming ambiguous, the version that was shot, and then going forward, the nothing, the release version, right? And then finally having a boyfriend, which was the sequel to, I believe, that 2002 sequel we saw. How do you guys feel about that? I bring this up, especially I think it was a good thing to bring this up because you brought up how inclusivity and diversity gives you that feel of like bullshit, pandery. Do you feel like this is one of those moments? Like, are they just making Velma gay? Because honestly, Velma bad as shit. She's probably like the best looking one out of the whole mystery gang. And I always had a crush on her low key. But like Scooby's been around since like what, the 50s, the 60s?
Velma's just underrated.
Low key. She always thought it was at first. But like Scooby's around since like the 50s. So it's like she was supposed to be gay in the 2000s. But we
I'm
couldn't
not
make her gay.
surprised if they did water her down back then because it's not something that people were very open about.
to.
It's something that was always hinted and everyone, that was the joke.
You felt like it was hinted the entire time that she was maybe bi or gay?
Not when it like first came out.
Yeah, of
I'd
course
say
not.
probably like closer to like around the time when we were born. when we started watching it later on.
I've watched a lot of Scooby Doo, like even like the live action movies when like they were like being hunted by the little tiki warriors or whatever. I didn't even catch that at all. Like I didn't feel like there was like no reference. I mean, like you said, it was watered down, but I didn't even catch like any like small hints of like the relationship being wrong for her, or maybe she's feeling off. Like I thought she fucked with Shaggy, honestly.
That's what I thought, and it's just like it's just kind of like one of those things where you see them, and it's just like I can feel it just radiating off of them. But then they threw that whole thing in with Shaggy, and it's like even before that, you could kind of feel her and Shaggy were kind of like a thing since Fred was already with Daphne.
Yeah. You got anything to say, Mikey?
I mean, who cares? Like in terms of like even if it is like a pandery thing, which I don't think this is, because to me, I feel like that makes the most sense in terms of that character. I feel like, yeah, I 100% could see that in the first movies, like hints of it. And yeah, to me, it makes the most sense. But two, at the end of the day, I don't really think it matters. Like one way or another, pander or not. Like obviously, if it's more pandery, it's not gonna come off as the way that you probably want to intend.
Yeah,
and it's probably gonna be a little cringy.
Yeah.
But I mean, at the end of the day, it's. I mean, these are all fictional characters. They could do with what they want with them.
Well, what's happening right now in the world, like, you know, why it's on fire? Do you think, like, this being, like, that she is gay, you think this would boost the movie as far as, like, ratings? Or you think, like, people are going to be like, fuck this movie because of this?
Not really. We go to watch Scooby-Doo to solve mysteries.
Well, I mean, people are mad that Elle is gay and the story of Last of Us is what it is, right?
Yeah, and it's one of the top selling games of the year.
It is. Don't get me wrong. It is, but that's based off the previous game, though. I feel like that's the reason why that game is boosting itself.
Scooby-Doo. Like, it's still gonna do fine if
It's
it,
gonna
or
do
maybe it won't
okay.
do bad. I don't think it's because it's
She's gay.
Velma is gay.
It's a kid's. It's gonna be a kid's thing. Scooby-Doo was never like extremely the best, but it was never the worst either.
So, see, since it's a kid's movie, you think like the impact of her sexual preference is gonna be less weighed? Because if this was like a PG-13 or even like a R-rated movie, right? Imagine Scooby-Doo R-rated. I feel like it would definitely have a big impact as far as how people would view it. Like, I don't think it would hurt me, don't get me wrong, but I feel like just as society, I feel like it would hurt the overall movie.
No, I've seen an R-rated Scooby-Doo. It's not that bad.
Where?
We'll
Thank
talk
you.
after. No, we'll talk after.
Oh, did you watch like something on Pornhub or something? Shaking my head.
No, it's no. I don't think it's gonna have an impact one way or another. I mean, people are gonna be mad to be mad. People are mad about everything, like literally anything on any side. Like
At the end of the day.
yeah, at the end of the day, they're gonna have their little protest or say, "I'm not gonna go watch the movie." But at the end of the day, the studio is gonna be cashing out. And if it's a bad movie, it's a bad movie. It has nothing to do with that, and that's why it did bad.
Do you see
always
people
stay
trying to
salty.
cancel this? Foresee people trying to cancel Scooby-Doo after this movie?
For what?
I mean, that's just what it is right now. Honestly, people are trying to cancel everything. So it's like,
No.
He's not wrong. Cancel culture is like super toxic
Yeah, but this
right
is
now.
first of all.
we almost canceled Sonic
This
until they
isn't
did it over.
necessarily gonna. Why would this be canceled?
Because
From
she's
who?
lesbian.
Yeah,
From
but
viewers. What do you mean from who?
That's not who controls the That's not who controls the cancel culture.
It's all people's choice, man.
I don't see it being canceled. I just see it getting, like a little bit of pushback. Everything's gonna get pushback.
You're gonna have the far right people being like, "Oh, they're trying to make our kids gay," and all their crazy arguments,
I can see that.
which
It's like
has
the people
happened
who don't wear masks.
since the beginning
Yeah.
of time, right? And
All the Karens.
it's just gonna blow over.
all the Karens on Reddit.
Like at the end of the day, they have no impact. Two, a lot of those people don't know how to use the internet. To be honest, so
You say it don't have impact until like the developers or the producers respond or they try to revamp
Well,
or
who-
come with a sequel.
who controls the cancel culture? It's not the right. It's not the right loons.
I'm just saying, I've seen it happen before, man.
Yeah, on things that are not progressive. Right?
Shut up.
I was just being honest.
Shut up. Progress that.
Other than James Gunn. James Gunn's the only one that I've seen work
Yeah.
from like a right attack, but at the end of the day it wasn't like in their bubble like the things that he said. So that's why.
Well, next piece of news. Now that my producer's back in the stew, Far Cry. So, Ubisoft Forward event dropped. I'm sorry, I had to let that burp go. Ubisoft Forward came and they revealed a trailer for Far Cry 6. Let's go ahead and play this. We can watch the trailer first. It's like 3 minutes, and then we can kind of speak about it after. All right.
It's beautiful.
Now, before it gets into anything, the writing in this was so good. I was like, oh my god.
It's beautiful, amigo. Perfect, but useless. I have something for you, Diego. Give me your hands. Now, the grenade is simple. It has 4 basic parts. The shell, which contains the explosive, the fuse, the handle, and of course, the pin.
So for audio listeners, the guy who's talking right now is the guy from Breaking Bad or Mandalorian.
Breathe. The pin simply holds the handle in place. It is only when you let it go that this grenade goes boom. Follow me. Now. I am El Presidente, which means that someday you will be El Presidente. And our people, they do not know how to be happy. They are torn apart by opinions, noise, indecision, strangled by their own freedoms. And even if you have love in your heart, even if you want what's best for them, if you only want to save them from themselves, they will hate you, Diego. Everything you say, do, believe, will be wrong. They will answer you with screams, call you evil, a monster, and give you this. So you tell me, are you evil? Are you a monster? Because our country is like this grenade, except it has 2 basic parts. Our people. And you must crush them nice and tight, or we all go boom. You understand now? Prove it.
Watch more from Fart. All right. Thoughts, unload, unpack for me right now.
I can feel that kid's stress already of holding that grenade.
Honestly, that was one of the first, like, this is one of the only trailers, honestly, that really, like, grabbed me, like, made me want to, like, find out what the fuck happens after this in a long time. Like, trailers usually supposed to, like, hype you up and excite you, like, oh, the graphics look good, or the gameplay looks amazing, but, like, you saw none of that here, but, like, it really gave you, like, a piece of the story, like, right out the gate. So it was, like, and that guy was a villain, too, which is interesting, right? So that's what made me really, like, what the fuck is happening here? But Far Cry usually has that effect on me. But what y'all got to say about this? What's up?
I'm curious about what I've been seeing roaming around.
What you been seeing? I haven't seen any news outside of just this trailer. Honestly, this is all new to me. This is my first time seeing this.
Did you ever play the 3rd one?
I played the 5th one. Didn't play the 3rd one.
Do you know about one of the antagonists from the 3rd one, Voss?
No, so I heard or I read some things online saying like this game could be like a prequel or something.
It's because Voss and the kid have a similar like scar above the eyebrow. So a lot of people are starting to believe this could be a prequel of what turned him into what he was in the 3rd one.
And the 3rd one, he was a monster.
The 3rd one, he was batshit crazy.
Oh shit.
He's the one that explained to you, it's like, do you know what the definition is of insanity?
Oh shit.
Like that's
the little boy that was there?
That's what people are assuming. I mean, it's not too far off. I would probably go insane living with that man too. He told me to hold a grenade and don't let go live.
Shit. That's crazy. Like, even just him taking it and just explaining it like that, like, that hit home. What about you, Mikey? What's up? What you thinking?
I mean, I'm always extremely intrigued by Far Cry's story. The games never really get me there, though.
Like
in
gameplay-wise?
terms of, yeah, just in terms of, like, having a loop to where I want to keep going. I know Far Cry 5 I like really wanted to be into because I really like that theme, like that cultish, like in the US, you know, like I it really intrigued me. And again, a lot of the Far Cry games really intrigued me in terms of the story, and I think they tell good stories, but throughout the game I could just never get, like, it's never interesting enough to keep me and keep my attention. I hope it's good, and I hope this... that's the issue with the Ubisoft games with me, though. They can never get me to finish them. Or like they can never get me to follow through, so a lot of the times I just stop playing them. Because they just... Like Watchdogs, I played Watchdogs 2. Started on that. Got a little bit in, and I was like, this just doesn't feel right. And honestly, it's kind of boring. So then I stopped playing.
So, like, are you saying, like, the gameplay, like, it's, like, repetitive? Like, you're just doing the same thing?
Well, the gameplay, well, I never even get far enough into it to really find out if it's repetitive or not. It's just slower, and it's... The controls never feel quite right, you know?
Yeah.
Where, like, that's a huge turnoff for me. Like, gameplay is king to me. Like, yeah, I'm huge on story, and I love story, but, like, if your game doesn't feel right, like, that's basically the tool that you use to interact with the world. So if it's off or it doesn't feel right, or if I don't like a certain like mechanic or it just feels off, I'm out instantly. And that's why I like Doom so much. No story, but all gameplay, but really fluid and great gameplay. That's what kind of keeps me. So I'm maybe interested to try to jump into this possibly. I don't know. With a lot of Ubisoft games, I'm kind of iffy. Yeah, I'm kind of done with.
Whatever. All right, Francisco, the Far Cry expert, like, what really grabs you about Far Cry games then? Because
it's kind of the same thing that he said with the story.
is this really story that grabs you?
Like, they have some crazy villains. It's not something simple like they just want to be like some mastermind or anything. They're just batshit crazy altogether. Mm-hmm. It's just when you're going through the story, it does kind of drag on a bit trying to get to each individual story piece.
Yeah.
But some of the little secrets you find in between, the further you get, you start getting the good stuff, and it's like, okay, now you're holding me in.
Is it worth it though? Like, do you feel like gameplay wise, like going through all of like finding those little secrets or even just getting to those secrets is worth the effort of grinding just so you can get to a major piece? Like, is it like a good turnout? Because I played Far Cry 5, didn't finish it. I didn't finish it because of the gameplay mechanically. Like, I wanted to play it co-op with a friend, but progression wise co-op, it just wasn't consistent. Like, leveling up, like if I played with a friend and you know how like you level up through the game, like, okay, you're now able to carry like 2 guns and now you have this perk. It didn't work like that. And so like that's what really threw me off as a co-op game, because that's what I really want to play it as. So that threw me off. But as I was playing though Far Cry 5, I liked like the shooting and shit. Traveling around was a little more like repetitive. Like, okay, like I'm going back and forth. Like, it was a lot of backtracking. But it was really just finding the story, and then you go to those areas where those cultist people like kind of like solidified and established themselves. But it wasn't really like I'm about to find out about this person. It was more like, okay, let me shoot this people, blow this up, and then eventually I'm gonna end up killing the cult leader type of deal.
The interesting way that Far Cry tells their story, it's not super linear. Like, you play through The Last of Us, you gotta go point A to point B. There may be wiggle room in there, and it's just like you're gonna hit each story marker as you go. With something like Far Cry, if you need that bit of story in between, it's gonna be hard for you to stay on, because a lot of it is just gonna be gameplay until you get to that next story piece. Like Far Cry 5, it has those story pieces.
Yeah.
It's pretty much just gonna be like 4 or 5 major story pieces.
Yeah, that's what honestly I would play the game and I would be looking for it. Like, I don't know the name of the woman. I want to call her Faith.
It's Faith.
It's Faith?
Yeah.
When she would just like, I don't know if she would just like intoxicate people or whatever and like make them just do whatever she wants by the sound of her voice. But like, I remember playing Far Cry and then like she would just randomly just spawn and you would shoot her and then like it'd be like a bear out of nowhere and you have to kill the bear. I remember that. Like, that was fun. Like, part of the story was like, oh, okay, she's fucking crazy. Like, she could fucking just manipulate you.
I think that you summarized my whole issue with Far Cry in the perfect perfect way, right? Other than like sometimes the feel and like how it drags on.
So you said what, suck your own dick real quick?
No. Well, no, I'm saying besides those points, and actually what doesn't keep me, I think that's a great point in terms of the point that I always usually make, where in terms of the more linear the game, the deeper the story you can get.
Right.
And the more open the game, the more story you lose.
Right.
And I think that is a great way to encapsulate it. Yeah, you get, 4 or 5 cutscenes?
There's like that
Yeah,
beginning one,
like
and there's
big-
one with each boss you
Yeah.
beat. That's pretty much it.
In like bigger parts. So even though it's like a great, usually Far Cry has amazing villains.
Yeah, they usually are.
Like
They're
some
really
of the
good.
best villains in video games, hands down.
Great background stories on the villains.
Yeah, but then you're playing what? How long does a Far Cry game take?
If you sit down, a weekend. If you
But like hours.
hours,
Like 30, 40, right?
roughly. I wouldn't probably say 40, maybe like 20, 30.
20, 30.
But that
That's still a lot of time.
also average on how good you are at games. Like Doom, I killed in a day.
Yeah, Mikey might take some time.
2030. Did you finish Far Cry 5?
No, I told you I didn't finish
Oh,
it because
yeah.
of the co-op
No,
mechanic.
no,
You just
yeah,
wanted to
I
make
know.
that point.
No,
you
I know,
dick.
but you were just saying I was bad at games. Yeah, so exactly. So you're playing, 20, 30 hours, and so maybe longer if you get lost in like the exploration of the world somewhat, as much as you can since it's so open. And you have 4 cutscenes that kind of drive the story forward. And for games like that, typically for me it's the story that kind of drives me forward more than the mechanics, because there's a million other shooters, and typically I feel like there's something off with Far Cry sometimes in terms of environments or whatever it is. So story's the only thing keeping me going, and you're giving me like piece by piece, very spread out from each other. So that makes a lot of sense, and I think you phrased it perfectly on like why I haven't really ever vibed with the Far Cry games.
If there's any game similar to it, it's going to be Destiny, the first one.
To the story?
The way they tell the story. If you played the first Destiny, there wasn't very much on story. You
I don't
had
think
to
there's
look in the
really
surroundings.
anything
Yeah,
in
they have
story.
to redo the
I
story.
feel like that about all the Destiny games. Though.
You had to find everything in the surroundings. It's kind of similar with Far Cry, where it's like you got those major cutscenes. Everything else isn't what you explore.
I feel like Far Cry, at least from the game I played, it told the story more like a Call of Duty, right? Where like, okay, now you have to jump here, now you have to kill a bunch of whatever, like Nazis or whatever you're shooting, right? And then you're gonna get to this point where like you have to jump in helicopters, maybe some cutscenes where you see a couple of the soldiers, and then like, okay, then you're back out there on the field and you're shooting and you're running through like alleyways and shit. I feel like that's the kind of story Far Cry was telling, which is okay. I do enjoy it, but it was just, like I said, the co-op part, the functionality, the gameplay wasn't really what I wanted it to be entirely. So like, I just couldn't stick to it.
I don't agree.
You don't think it tells it like Call of Duty, or you don't?
Because Call of Duty is very linear, and it's very like
You only get one
you're
direction.
getting a lot more of
okay.
the cutscene and the story, and like there's a story to tell, and they're very thoroughly trying to tell you the story of some kind of war, some kind of attack, or whatever it is. And sure, there is you're gonna have gameplay between any cutscenes or whatever it is. You're not gonna have a game that's entirely
it's not just all
cutscenes. Whereas Far Cry, I feel like there's very few and far between. Whereas Call of Duty is a very linear story that they're telling, a very cohesive story that they're telling. Whereas Far Cry, to me, I feel is more about the world.
Yeah, you do get to explore the world in Far Cry as opposed to you wouldn't call. Okay, I see what you're saying as far as that goes.
I think you guys would have more fun in Far Cry's DLCs than the main game.
Why do you say so? Is it more story driven?
The DLC has nothing to do with the actual games most of the time, except for the fourth one.
But I mean, it's not the actual game that's holding us back. It's the gameplay, though.
Well, because those ones actually add in more storytelling than the actual game does. And they're like little side stories. Like all of Far Cry 5's DLCs, it was
So they're more linear,
zombies,
essentially.
aliens.
Yeah.
And another one was like Vietnam themed. Far Cry 3, majority of people remember Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon. Whole 80s effect, robots, laser beams, dinosaurs. It was nowhere near the game.
Okay. Well, I think that's enough on Far Cry. Let's get on the next piece of news. Did you guys see the Watchdogs Legion trailer? They haven't really spoken about this. And I honestly thought like we were never going to get this. And then they came out with this trailer. And I was like, okay, about time. We got something. Go ahead. I'm going to show you some of that because I'm just going to play a piece of it. It was like a gameplay. I think it was like an 18 or 30-minute clip. But I got a piece of it.
I could not be less interested in Watch Dogs.
Why not?
It just,
You said you didn't like the story.
No, I didn't like the gameplay, to be honest.
All right, same deal. We're just going to play this in the back and we're just going to watch this. And I want you guys to reflect after.
That's where you want to start from?
Yeah, right there's good.
Into Albion headquarters inside the Tower of London. All the hardy souls you see here are people we have recruited from the streets of London. They all have unique abilities, and you're free to tackle this mission with whoever you like.
Dear God, my eyes.
Badly.
Zip up, get to work, and let's never talk about this again.
Like everyone in DedSec, Arthur can hack pretty much whatever. But as a construction worker, he has a particular set of tools that make him handy. He can even call his own cargo drone. Perfect for gate crashing, when you're not invited. And who needs a regular old gun when you have a bloody nail gun?
Come here, you soy-doy shitboard.
Damn. Popping with nails.
There's no compressor on that nail gun. Unrealistic.
Perhaps we could approach this mission differently. If you'd rather keep your distance, we've got you covered. Amy is a drone expert,
What have we here?
a real tech connoisseur.
Hate spiders, but love this one.
What an adorable creepy crawler.
Here we are. Let's class the place up.
A drone expert does have the unique ability to summon their own drone. This little darling is fast and stealthy.
She aims, she fires, she hits.
I'm reading incoming drones.
She can also hack enemy drones, turning the tide in her favor. And if you are not into direct confrontation, there are more ways than one to get the job done. Recruiting an Albion officer like Brielle here might be challenging, but it'll get you inside restricted Albion areas.
Don't mind me, just doing recon for a bunch of insurgents.
However, do anything suspicious and she'll probably wind up with a bullet in the back of her head.
You've been approved for entry.
We're missing the human element here. I can get the Defense Minister on the line right now.
Well, if you feel you must.
All right, Tambo, you can stop it right there.
Criminals running our streets.
I feel like there's gonna be 6, 7 different like classes on what you could do.
Yeah, they
And
all
just
more
a
or
bunch
less
of
look the
reskins
same,
of the
right?
characters.
Yeah. It looked like a lot of the same gameplay. You're going to be doing the exact same thing. Honestly, it looks like you're going to have to find the right person to get any type of like story attachment, because like you didn't get this from the other 2 gameplay sessions. Don't get me wrong, they didn't really play it out that far, because I really can't really make that assumption. But I feel like this would be probably the best route to take, so you can actually get some story, right? You actually see what's happening behind the scenes versus just storming the building with a drone. I see a lot of the gameplay really getting repetitive because of that, because like you said, it's just reskins of the same character. Like, okay, this character can summon a drone, but he can also shoot people with nail guns, and I like nail guns, so I get 2 best of both worlds.
I'm just curious if there's actually going to be a main character, and
That's a
how
good
many
point.
of those, how many other characters can we actually pick up?
Anyone, but I bet you there's gonna be tons of reskins.
Yeah.
There's gonna be reskin after reskin.
Apparently, you can play with anyone in the game.
But
There is no main character.
Is it gonna be something like Borderlands, where you got like 6 of the same gun, but they're all different stats?
No, I'm sure. I mean, there's gonna be 7 different classes of like what you can do. You can be like the drone expert, or you can be what they said, like one of the actual soldiers, or
Yeah.
you can be like a brute, or you can be stealth, or this
Yeah.
and that. And you'll have like different abilities and accesses, but it's really just gonna be like 7 different classes reskinned across a bunch of people. I feel like, I don't know. I honestly am skipping this game.
The way I felt, at least they showed it to me, it felt like Spider-Man. You know how like you play Spider-Man, you have like, you're able to get like all these different outfits. Okay, like now this outfit can inflict like spiders like just to the people, like just have them run around, or now this outfit can maybe jump or like slam a lot harder than the other outfit. Like I feel like it's that type of thing. Like, okay, now I want to play as this character. Okay, I'm bored of this type of like deal. Okay, then let me just play with drones now, or let me just play with cars, or let me just hack this.
And they're gonna give you diversity in terms of the gameplay with it. I'm not saying like having only 8 or like 10, different classes are bad. It's just, again, it's Watch Dogs, and I'm just not a big fan.
You think you lose any of the characters if they die?
I was about to say that.
Yeah,
I would hope so.
I think that's how.
Yeah,
permadeath.
And then you just got to go recruit another drone expert.
And you're just like, fuck, I lost my soldier.
Which is a cool idea.
Next piece of news, I got Sekiro. Oh, Google Stadia. I'm sorry, I was looking at the list all wrong. So Google Stadia Connect just happened, I believe, over the weekend as well. And they announced a couple more games they're going to bring to Stadia. Such as Sekiro, Bomberman Battle Royale, which was released, I believe, a couple years prior. But essentially, it's just 16 more titles that they're bringing to Google Stadia, such as, like I said, Sekiro, Bomberman, One Hand Clapping, Dead by Daylight, Hitman, the whole trilogy, it looks like, Outriders, NBA 2K21, Hello Neighbor. I didn't name them all, but those are some of the names that I've actually thought were like pretty decent titles that I would actually play. This is going to get you to get Google Stadia?
I'm sorry you didn't say WWE.
No.
WWE fans are going crazy in the chat right now.
WWE games have been trashed for a while.
To cancel you.
I can't see them.
I am like, first of all, Sekiro, the game that you need like expert timing in and like no delay.
That's a good point.
It's like, what are we doing? Like the biggest thing for me is this is the same reaction I had coming out of the Xbox conference, where it's like, what are you doing? Like, at least to be honest, I feel like the Xbox conference showed a lot more, because these are all games we know.
Yeah.
These are all, like, I don't get what Stadia is trying to do right now. Like, you're competing not only with a bunch of experts in the space that you're competing with,
right, but you're also competing in a space where there already competition going into next generation and everybody's flexing their muscles. Like, if you would have came out, halfway through next gen, or like halfway, in the middle, like midlife,
where it's like not like having The Last of Us come out and having Sekiro, and then having all the Xbox games they're about to announce in a couple weeks, right? And having basically all these publishers like Sony and Microsoft and Nintendo flexing their guns, trying to get people to come buy their stuff. So now you just look irrelevant and out of the conversation because you're talking about Sekiro coming to your platform. Like, yes, it's important to be there. It's important to play games. It's important to have, like, a library. But also, and I saw somebody talking about this the other day, where it's basically Microsoft has the right approach about putting games everywhere, right? Mm-hmm. Which, sure, let's say everybody follows that approach, though. And I tweeted out about this. But then there's no competition. Yeah, then we're looking like business. Stadia, and we're having the same Call of Duty. We're having the same games over and over regurgitated to us. Whereas I feel like I love the space that we're in right now. I love that Microsoft feels that, they're going to put their games everywhere that they can, and they have a different strategy. But at the end of the day, there's going to be games that you're not going to be able to play on PlayStation. Because, one, PlayStation won't allow it, and two, I mean, that obviously Microsoft bought all these studios to be able to compete. It's not like they're just like, oh, the game's in everywhere, blah, blah, blah. They need games, right? And Sony having games and developers made them be able to be like, oh, we should get games for our platform. Right. Like exclusive games. Right. And then that's exactly what's happening. And Stadia, I feel, is just like this little sailboat out in the middle of a storm on an ocean. Like, nobody's paying attention to it. Paddling, though. Nobody gives a fuck about it. It doesn't work properly. You didn't give yourself an out with like a physical edition, because if you had a physical edition, at least you have the out of being able to be like, oh, well, that's not quite ready. We're still going to support it and try to update it and make that work. But at least you can get the physical edition, right, and not have to pay a membership fee or whatever. Also, your membership's super high. You need to be in the $10, $20 range.
It is. I thought it was $15 for the Stadia Ultimate. I thought it was $15 a month.
In terms of all inclusive, like a Netflix style.
Oh yeah. I mean, it gives you all the games.
No, it doesn't.
$15 a month?
No,
that's the Ultimate Pass.
The Ultimate Pass for some of the games.
I didn't even know there was.
That's not all the games. You have to still buy games. Like, it's not like when Watchdogs comes out, you get that for free. Yeah. It's not a Netflix model.
You're right.
So, and maybe it could be a Netflix model where it's like just exclusive content from them that you can stream, and it's $20 or $15, where it's like absolutely free to play anything, right? And it's only their content and some, licensed content that like you can play for free when you get on there. that would be a better model. Or 2, you need to rush a physical edition. You need to rush a physical edition, and you need to start getting some games out there with developers. Like, Facebook's acquiring developers. Like, why can't you? Like, why can't you either start creating studios or, which I would not recommend creating a studio. I'd recommend buying up. You have Google money. Buy developers.
Warner Bros. Is open.
Yeah, I mean, that would be actually a really great
You know
start.
what I'm saying?
That would be a really great start.
A lot of
but
people
again,
looking at Warner Bros. Too.
even if they bought, for instance, Warner Brothers, right?
Yeah.
You are stuck on your platform, being streaming only. That still doesn't work. Like, nobody's talking about that. That still doesn't work. So even if they did do that, Mortal Kombat on a huge delay, multiplayer,
Yeah,
it doesn't work. So you need to have a physical out. And I don't understand why they didn't give them a physical out. I think that it would be smart of them to be like, hey, this is the Stadia box. This one's not going to be subscription. This one, if they really want to get into this, right? And then you build on your streaming service that you have, right? And you keep building on that.
It'd be a
but
good
at this
idea
point, you're just going to be bleeding money.
if they just made the actual controller take cartridges or something like that. So you can just connect that to your TV wirelessly, and then you have the controller.
Battery life would be a miserable. Processing would be miserable. That would not work. But yeah, even if it is just a non-physical disc, thing, or maybe a physical disc. I don't know what my solution is. You need to rush a physical console out, because at this point you are bleeding money. Your service already doesn't work. So even if you do get games from by developers, those games aren't necessarily going to run the best on the Stadia. Maybe first-party stuff that will run better on Stadia. I don't know yet, because there hasn't been any first-party games. There's only been third-party games where they try to make it work
On Stadia.
Yeah.
Portovers.
which is an issue. So to me, the solution to Stadia would actually be rush a physical box, and you compete on the retail space, and you compete on the developer space.
Mikey says this every time I bring up Stadia to him. Every time, consistently.
Because
There's
give
an
me some
issue with
hardware.
the physical box, though.
I don't what.
At that point, you would have to increase the price on the Stadia itself. You're putting out hardware, and now you're going into 100% competition against PlayStation, Nintendo, and Xbox.
Well,
Whereas
here's the
Stadia
thing.
was supposed to be a cheaper alternative.
Being
Downside was if you don't have internet speed, you're just kind of screwed altogether.
even if you have internet speed. Kevin Coelho from Kind of Funny has the same internet we do, 1,000 up, 1,000 down, still has the delay issues. It's not necessarily an internet issue, it's an infrastructure issue. And on top of that, sure, you're going into direct competition, and sure, you're supposed to be the cheaper alternative, which really, you're not. I mean, you're not. If you have Stadia for 9 years...
Infrastructure sucks. It's kind of on the cheap side then.
Well, I'm saying if it's 9-10 years that you are only Stadia, and you're paying $20 a month or $15 a month, that adds up. That you're at a price of a console already, right?
I mean, over 10 years, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, over a couple of a year, of course, you'd be up to that price of a console.
No, 15. What's 15 times 12? I don't know.
15 times 12.
I
What do I look like? What do I look like?
You got it?
Yeah, no, he had to take a different
180,
real quick.
180.
What was that?
180.
180. Okay, so you're halfway to the price of a console, right?
Okay.
But my point is as you continue, so if it were to last as long as you're with it as long as your PlayStation for 10 years or Xbox for 10 years, right? Mm-hmm. You're already quadruple the cost of what you were just playing, buying a console outright. 2, you can still have that space. You can. I'm not saying get rid of the streaming space. Keep that streaming space and try to be the cheaper alternative. But in reality, you have to compete 100%. Because if you don't compete 100%, you're not going to get anything. Because Xbox is already competing 100%, and they have a streaming service coming. That's an issue if you're Stadia. Because then not only are they getting money from the people who don't want to use the streaming service or don't have the internet speed to do the streaming service, and they can go to the store and buy a physical box. But then now you're being competed on 100% on their streaming service level, right? So now they have both outs. Xbox has an out. If their streaming service doesn't work right, they still have the out of a physical console. You can still play games. So Stadia needs to do a box, and they need to compete on that level, and they need 100% do this 100% or not at all.
I feel like Stadia is here for the long game. I feel like, they're going to have to deal with the trashy, internet code or the infrastructure until they're able to build it. until they're able to really solidify like how they can make this work for everyone, which it may take a couple years. You said Stadia might drop everything, or Google might drop Stadia by like 2021, I think you said, or 2022. Okay. But I feel like Google's really just trying to learn how to build this infrastructure better than anybody else as far as streaming goes. Like you said, the streaming platform is going to be new for PlayStation, for Sony, and they're going to have to learn to adapt. And they always have that out as the hardware, but they're going to have to learn to adapt the streaming and how to make that more fluid and consistent. Whereas Google's going to be, as they have been, just trying to build on that, try to at least get more games. And I mean, that's a problem. We need more games. But I feel like just building that infrastructure as far as having it all stream could be the future.
Sure.
Google's lagging on the stream, though. PlayStation's been on it for a minute, and Xbox is taking the biggest jump of going everywhere.
Yeah, it's not like they're not adapting, right? Like, PlayStation invested in streaming in 2009.
Does theirs even work on PC still?
What?
Does their PlayStation Now work on PCs?
I
thought they
believe
dropped
so.
it.
No.
They didn't drop PlayStation now?
No, they still have it. They
They
play
still go
PlayStation View. That's what they.
It was View. It was View.
But no, I mean, they are adapting and they are changing, and they've invested in this a while ago. Like when they bought Gaikai back in 2010, 2009, or 2012, I guess. That's not the point. But like, it's not like Google Stadia is like not gonna have competitors, because why would you buy Stadia when you can do the same thing for Xbox and get Game Pass and stream the games, and then you're really the cheaper alternative because you're not buying $60 games all the time. You can get all the exclusives for free on Xbox Game Pass, and you can stream them through the Xbox X Cloud or whatever the fuck they're calling it. Sony, I'm sure, is working on something, and even if they're not, they're still number one right now. They still have the hardware, and again, the technology doesn't make people buy you. It just doesn't. Like, technology doesn't. The Nintendo Switch is ever apparent. The Nintendo Wii is ever apparent. The GameCube is ever apparent. Technology doesn't make you buy things. Games do. Otherwise, the Wii would have failed miserably, right?
The gimmick worked.
Yeah, the gimmick worked, one, but two, it's not. People weren't buying the Wii to play the best games, like in terms of like powerful and the best graphics and things.
I'm gonna let you finish, but you've been talking for too long, so we're gonna get to the next topic.
Okay.
All right. Next topic, because he want to ramble. We're going to let him ramble by himself over there. So Star Wars, the Clone Wars, ended on season 7. You guys seen it?
It was very sad.
You seen the whole season 7, Mikey?
Yep.
So I'm like season 3, I believe. I've been trying to catch up. I started to rewatch the whole thing because I wanted to actually see what happened, because I like saw it just growing up, like just on Disney Channel, just kind of like episode here, episode there. Never really kind of like fluidly seen the whole thing.
It was on Cartoon Network.
Was it Cartoon Network?
Yeah.
I thought it was Disney Channel. Okay. I'm dumb. Cartoon Network, saw episode here, saw episode there. And so after the end of season 7, Lucasfilms have announced they're going to continue their animated series with another show called Star Wars The Bad Batch. Can you go ahead and just show the trailer real quick? Because if you guys, I don't know if you guys have seen this. This is supposed to be a new edition post Star Wars, Clone Wars. We'll just play the video real quick and I'll talk a little more after.
Battlefronts, and we are losing nearly every one.
Let's take a small squad behind enemy lines. If we're going to find intel, it'll be there. What squad are we taking in? Clone Force 99. They call themselves the Bad Batch. These guys are clones? The cavalry has arrived! The defective clones with desirable mutations. Let's get to work.
Remember, this is a stealth mission.
So much for stealth. I don't like the look of this. This is a trap.
They don't stand a chance.
I thought he died.
We're going down! Let's finish what we started.
All right. So, the Bad Batch, these characters are a group of elite clone troopers who are genetically more unique and able to take on more dangerous missions, is pretty much the premise of who these guys are, and I'm sure the story will unfold from there. My question is, did anyone ask for this?
Not necessarily, but people are curious what the Bad Batch went through.
So I wanted to watch the Clone Wars because it was supposed to be in between movies 2 and 3, right? Or is it 3 and 4?
2 and 3.
Right. So I was like, okay, this is canon to 2 and 3. I want to see how Anakin really became this badass person, more of the fights you see in Clone Wars that you don't see in the movies. Okay. Then you see episode 3, and then the rest of the whole trilogy, or the what is it called? The Skywalker saga. But then this is supposed to be post Clone Wars. So it's supposed to be canon, but I don't even is this I don't. Do you guys read like Star Wars books or anything? Like, I don't know how like nerdy this goes down. Like, I'm sure this has been a thing, but like, did anyone ask for this thing? Like,
I think it's just more people are curious with what happened with a lot of the clones.
Yeah.
Like, did you watch Star Wars Rebels?
I did not watch Star Wars Rebels. I heard that one was a canon though.
It is.
Oh, they made it canon.
Yeah, that one for sure is canon. With Star Wars Rebels, it actually showed some clones who actually took that little chip out of their head. So when Order 66 happens,
they didn't really zap to it.
And then the last 4 episodes of the Clone Wars, that overlaps with the 3rd movie. So like when Anakin's over there killing little, Jedi younglings, you're over here watching what Ahsoka went through while he's doing that.
Yeah, because she's the main character of Clone Wars, right?
Yeah, and that actually tells you a little bit more of what's going on with the clones. There's more than one clone from the Star Wars Rebels that took the chip out and made it through.
Right.
But you don't know how many. You know for sure there's one with Ahsoka, and then there's the rest of them that were in Star Wars Rebels.
I like this. Make me feel excited about this. Keep going. Keep going.
The thing with the Bad Batch is there's a chance that they may not have had the chip put in them at all, because they were the mutated ones. One has he has an electromagnetic field, so he can feel all the clankers coming from miles away. Just feel it in his body. One of them is super strong. He can flip over one of their drop ships. And then one of them's a sharpshooter, and the other one's IQ is through the roof.
Oh, so you got Shikamaru, you got Deadshot, and you got the Hawk. Nice. Squad 99.
Yep. And they're dope as hell for the few episodes that they're in. You don't know what happened to them. You just know they left.
Yeah.
And they took another clone with them that for sure had the chip taken out of them.
But does it matter?
I mean, did the Clone Wars matter?
Yeah, it was important to tell you a story or what happened in between the movies. Now, of course, people that didn't watch the Clone Wars, obviously they're not going to get that piece, but I feel like it's still a good piece of Anakin and get to know who he was and how he really came up as a Jedi.
I mean,
so I think the Clone Wars mattered.
As far as the overall story goes, Clone Wars didn't really matter too much because you knew what was going to happen at the end. You just wanted to see what happened in between.
Exactly.
That's the same thing with the Bad Batch.
But I mean, we could say things about Rogue One movies, right? Like Rogue One, did that matter? No, but it was cool to see what happened in between.
Actually, Rogue One did have an impact.
Well, as far as them getting the blueprints for the Death Star or whatever. But I mean, we
never
already know
curious
what
how they
happened
got
to
it?
the Death Star, right?
Were you never curious though on how they got those blueprints? It's it just started. It's here's blueprints.
Well, that's my point to this. The point of Clone Wars is I don't even know why people hate them.
When Clone Wars first dropped, it didn't really matter until they started dropping the last couple of seasons.
Yeah.
Then that's when they started to make it matter because now you're seeing how Order 66 is affecting the clones. That's where its impact came in. Before those last 2 seasons,
yeah,
it's just a story. Now those last 2 seasons, it's all right, this is how it's connecting to the movies, and those last 4 episodes solidified it.
Mike, you got anything to say on the Squad 99? You gonna watch this?
No. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna watch it. I'm excited.
Why are you excited?
I like their storyline in the Clone Wars.
Did you finish the Clone Wars?
Really cool.
Yeah. So, do you want to see this? Is this something that this is a good spinoff? So, Monkey King 115, I see in the chat. He said he would have preferred to see a Republic Commandos show. What the fuck is that?
Oh, those guys are badass as hell. So those guys were introduced first in a video game. The Star Wars Republic Commando.
That was the name of the game?
Yeah. It was one of the
Were they clones
games.
too?
Yeah. They were the elite clones. So if the Bad Batch didn't exist, those would be the guys you go to. They're the all-in-one army.
Oh, so they're the truth. When you need some shit done, you hit the Republic Commandos.
Yeah. They made them canon since when Disney took everything and they just kicked everything aside that wasn't the series or the movies. They ended up making the Commandos canon in Star Wars The Clone Wars and Star Wars Battlefront 2. The one that EA made.
I'm so out of Star Wars. This is so new to me. I don't know if I want to watch the Squad 99. Like, I haven't even finished the Clone Wars, and I feel like after season 7, like after I see Ahsoka grow up, and like you said, like Anakin's out here killing these Jedi younglings, like I feel like, okay, cool. Like I got a little piece of Clone Wars. Episode 3 happened. Okay, episode 4. Is there anything between episode 4? It was Rogue One, right?
Rogue One, and then
I feel like I can complete the whole saga that way.
Rebels is kind of a little bit before it, but not like a whole lot.
Rebels is like what, before episode 2?
It goes over the Rebels is after the Clone Wars. It kind of goes over the
Rebels is
original.
after the Clone Wars?
Yeah.
I mean, of course you can just watch all the movies. Like, you don't have to watch all this.
I know, but this is some nerd shit, man.
I want to know. It's for the people who like are like into it and want to be into it.
But my point is this: I don't even see how Squad 99 can even tie into like, yeah, you want the nerd shit to be a part of it, like it just be its own thing for sure. But like, my point is, I like the nerd shit, like Clone Wars. I like how it tells the story in between 2 and 3.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see how Squad 99, even honestly looking at clones at all, really tells any story about anything really dealing with the Skywalker saga.
Well, have you watched the last Clone Wars?
The last season?
Yeah.
No,
Well, it's not necessarily going to be about the Skywalker saga. I mean, maybe it will. Like it said it was going to tie in.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure they're going to find a story to tell. Like there's a lot in Star Wars lore where you can tell, but the beauty of it is you can just watch 1 through 6 if you want.
That's the main story,
and you get it, or even just 4 through 6. Like this isn't for people who aren't really even into Star Wars. Like this is for people who are really into Star Wars and want more Star Wars content. It's not necessary for the people who want to just watch the Star Wars episode, like, and get the Star Wars story. You can get that through 1 through 6.
Do you think they can use like something like this to like tell a different, I guess, Star Wars saga?
It'd probably be like a side movie, kind of like how Rogue One and
doesn't
Solo
all
was.
necessarily have to tie in. Like
That's what I'm saying. Like
side
outside of the
stories.
Skywalker saga, like could you think they can use like Squad 99 to tell like a separate like Star Wars story where they can actually make spin-offs?
Yeah, of course. Like I feel like it's a whole galaxy, right? And
Yeah.
it's like billions and billions of characters and people and species and planets, and I feel like, I mean, the Mandalorian doesn't really tie into Skywalker.
No, I know that's what I'm saying. It's its own standalone thing.
So I mean, there's plenty of stories to tell in the Skywalker or in Star Wars itself.
Yeah, because like with Star Wars, you got your start and end already.
Yeah.
You got that all set up. You can run through that and get like the main story of everything. Now what they're trying to do is just spread out sideways.
So
Tell
like,
what's in
Because the
between.
nerd shit's always been there. Like there's been thousands of books written. There's been thousands of comics written.
So like it's 1 through 9, just the literally like you said, like the linear span of Star Wars, and then like
That's the
as
main
far as just
story.
now you're just telling everything from this side now.
1 through 9 is the story of, like, it's this. That's the Skywalker story.
Yeah. So there's like, could you like, is there any story after 9 like that is
Mandalorian. Well, Mandalorian's not after 9, but I mean, yeah.
They'll probably
because
introduce
the world
after
didn't
9.
end.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It
Like,
didn't
is
blow
it
up.
just like
So
okay,
yeah, there could be.
now we're here.
I'm sure there is.
I'd want some of that. That's what I really want. Like, I don't want this unless this ties into that, right? That's when I'd want to. Okay, Squad 99 ties into post episode 9. Okay, dope. But like, I'm not that big of a fan. I'm sure like you guys are. Like, you guys are gonna watch it, cool. But like, I want to see something that's gonna turn into something else, not just reading some nerd shit or watching some nerd shit on the side.
Since you're watching Clone Wars, you need to run through Rebels.
Run through them. Last topic of the day. Of course, you know who I am. Apex recently teased the new character for the little story mode thing they were going out in the season 5. When you had like a bunch of story, it was more honestly reading some stuff. So I got a clip from a YouTuber who actually finished it up. This happened today, so I didn't get to do it for myself, so I had to borrow this guy's video. Shout out to Candy Drew. He's actually a really good video YouTuber and Apex streamer. Go ahead and play the video because it's pretty dope.
You want it from there? That's where you start.
Yeah, right there. Is there...
The hell is this?
Oh no, is this another simulacrum?
Fuck is that? I just made that word up.
Oh god. I'm just curious.
Alright, I didn't know he was doing all this. Can you just skip ahead like a little bit? He over here playing.
Who's talking?
Yeah, he actually.
Does panel do anything? Okay, so I just wanted to.
Here we go. Yeah.
Is this the next character? Ash?
The path ends here. Welcome to Olympus.
Olympus?
You can pause it right there.
Olympus?
All right, so apparently that's the new character. Wasn't really much. Wasn't a trailer. We don't know what she does, but I don't know. I like Apex lore. I like how season 5 really, like, if you actually were engaged, you actually saw the story unfold. Which, like, Loba looking for ways to kill Revenant. Revenant really trying to plot and find out what's going on with her. Apparently there's going to be a new legend. I don't really know exactly how it ends. Like I said, I just found this happened today. Ash is going to be the new legend. It's supposed to be getting a new map as well, which I'm very grateful for because I'm tired of playing the same 2 maps. I don't know if you guys have anything to weigh on. Probably not because you guys don't play Apex.
I haven't played Apex since the first season.
I wonder what her the special's gonna be.
Yeah, we need, like, honestly, like,
what do you
Apex
want? What do you want?
Like,
What do
another,
you, yeah,
like,
what do you want? Let's see what you want.
Yeah,
I want a
we
Titan.
need, like, another, like, scout or a medic character. Technically,
Medic.
it's Lifeline and Loba. I don't really see how Loba is really medic. I mean, she can see loot, which is cool, but, like,
Nah,
that's more like solo play, really. Like, I don't know how. I mean, you can use it to help your teammates, especially with her ult, but, like, it's not really as useful in most situations. Like, she'd be dope. Like, if Ash could, like, for example, for the ability to, like, teleport to a different side of the map, but the cooldown was like 2 minutes, that'd be dope. I'd use that. I'd want that. All right, well, I guess since my cohorts here have nothing to say on this topic, I guess this show is over. Like I said, you can watch this show.
Can I actually read these comments? They look really, really interesting. So this is from Sticks. He sucks at Apex. He sucks. Cash sucks. He shouldn't even play games seriously. That's all I got.
Well, thank you for that. So you can watch this show live every Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. At twitch.tv/play. Oh, not Play Everything. It's PE Productions. Or if you missed the show today, I know I had a lot of you here in the chat, but if you missed the show, you can watch it tomorrow, Wednesday, at 10 a.m. on youtube.com/Play Everything. Cheeks, you got anything you want to plug? What you got going on?
You can watch Tech Fever every Thursday if you're into technology. Me and Kevin Coelho do a show called Tech Fever. That goes live every Thursday at 10 a.m. And again, completely consensual. You can catch that live on right here on twitch.tv/Play PE Productions at 8 o'clock every Monday. And if you miss it live, you can watch it every Tuesday, 10 a.m., youtube.com/Play Everything. And stay tuned for that Last of Us reflection that will be dropping very, very soon.
Yes, sir. And if you want to see a little snippet of us, a little snip, we got a channel, we got a page, actually. It's called Play Everything Clips. Got a little bit of everything there, all right? Go ahead, check that out. It's popping. Il Cisco, Fran, you got something you want to plug? What's up? What we plugging?
I got nothing.
You got no plugs? All right,
Nope.
y'all. No plugs. Thanks for watching. Logging off.